Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. I want to thank you for taking your very valuable time and looking at this music box being offered for your bidding consideration on eBay. The purpose of the video is to get an up-close look, and more importantly, an audible example of how the box sounds, which is very important when you're purchasing a music box. It's always nice to hear it play, so there's no surprises when it shows up at your front door. This box, it's a Rouge, made in Switzerland, of the highest quality and craftsmanship. I mean, they just don't get any better than this for those of you unaware. This is 3 melody, 72 note movement. I've done absolutely nothing with it. All I did, I put a little bit of lubrication on the movement, just for the sake of testing purposes only. It's working perfectly. It's working absolutely perfectly. All the dampers are present, accounted for. There's no, no squeaks, no strange noises, anything like that. I took a closer look at the governor, and they all look pretty clean. There's no sloppy pivots. Mechanically, this one is it's rock solid. However, I would highly recommend that to the winning bidder, take it in and have it serviced by a professional, a person who's got the skills to accomplish that task. Anyway, the 3 melodies are Tchaikovsky, March of the Toy Soldiers, Waltz of the Flowers, and Dance of the Sugar Plum Fairy. Based on the design and configuration of that tune sheet, also there's a retailer label on the bottom, right there. Marjos out of Aledo, what is that, Texas maybe? Jewelry and Gifts. It's just got that 50s or 60s design to it. I'm thinking this box was, let's call it the 1960s. Maybe late 50s, 1960s, something like that. I would guess. I could be wrong about that. Anyway, I really haven't even looked at this thing too much prior to shooting this video here, but it all seems to be pretty good. The box seems to be okay. It still retains its original finish, and of course you've got all that beautiful inlay work, which is very typical for these Rouge music boxes. Let's take a look at the back. Yeah, there's no damage there. A little bit of maybe, I'm not sure if you can make that out, but maybe a little evidence of what do they call it, crazing or something like that when the finish, especially this inlay work, it may lift a little bit, but it's nothing terribly noticeable. Most people wouldn't even recognize it. Only a trained eye would pick up on it. Anyway, like I said, it plays perfectly. The box appears to be walnut, with maybe some veneer on it. Possibly all walnut, actually. It's got that very even dark green pattern that walnut usually displays. But yeah, like I said, I would service this one. Everything else looks clean. It works perfectly. I don't see any dirt or anything like that. Any accumulation of dirt or debris. However, you don't know what that mainspring looks like, right? So you should probably take it apart. It should be taken apart and the mainspring removed and cleaned, and some fresh grease put on there, and some fresh lube on the rest of the movement. So it'll continue to operate properly. Anyway. You can access, I'm going to remove the glass for you. You can access it by just removing this the little side panel here, and then the glass slides out like so. But you can hear it better with the glass removed. So with that said, like I said, it's Tchaikovsky, March of the Toy Soldiers, Waltz of the Flowers, and Dance of the Sugar Plum Fairy. Let's fire it up and hear how it sounds. See what you think. No bent pins, all the teeth and tips are in perfect condition. Dampers, no damper noise. It's flawless. It works perfectly. I actually don't even know these particular songs. You know, my ear is not refined for classic opera. You know, but obviously I've heard these before. You know, all these melodies. Forgive me, I'm not an educated man when it comes to the arts. You know, or classical opera music. But they're beautiful songs, all three of them. You know, very distinct, and I've heard them before, and it sounds perfectly. Tune sheet is well, near perfect. I'm not sure if you can pick up on that, but there's a little crease or a fold starting to form there, but you know, it's still perfectly legible. Beautiful color pattern on the tune sheet. Real nice tune sheet. Okay, we'll play one more melody here, but you guys get the idea. You get the gist of it. I only played it once prior to shooting this video, and it went on and on and on for probably, you know, a good 12 to 15 minutes straight before it ran out of mainspring power. So it's working fine, but like I said, I'd service it. You know, not knowing when it was last serviced, it's just generally a good idea to have it serviced. You know, so this way you know it's been serviced. You know, so maybe one more. Take a closer look at that inlay work on the lid too. The lid fits nice and tight. You know, your activation lever is right here. You know, you move it to the left to shut off the musical movement, and move it to the right to activate it. This design is pretty typical for a music box. You know, a viola, or you know, I believe that's what they call it. You know, some floral patterns, and it looks like some music score sheet there, and you know, they usually do this inlay work with varying materials, you know, maple, walnut, oak, you know, mahogany, and, you know, just to give it that different shade of color. But all of this is perfect. But it's a nice box. You know, again, thank you everybody for your time. I really appreciate it, you know, knowing how much my time is limited and valued. So, you know, good luck bidding, and you know what, I'm going to shoot another video of another box. It's an older one. They call it like a Brienne Chalet style. It's like a, you know, like a miniature house with a similar movement as this one here. So take a look at that if you're interested too. Okay, everybody, thank you. Appreciate it.